Hi all, my name's Hannah and I'm the C5 nut. Well, I couldn't wait any longer. I know it was only yesterday we were talking about the fiasco with Traffic Master. Well, yeah, I couldn't wait a few days. It's just something that was it's something I want to do, and I want to get this video out there as quickly as I can, because I'm sure people out there are wanting to stick a hammer to the Traffic Master. Well, that's what we're going to be looking at today, is obviously Traffic Master itself. I have got the whole complete wiring loom for the Traffic Master, which I took out of the C5 Caravan project. So when I was actually stripping that car down, I took what can I say? It was sitting there. I took the whole wiring, because I know at some point I will need to know on how it works and how I can bypass it. And that's the only way people out there are going to learn. If they've got something in front of them, you can actually work out what's going on and how it works. So, right, again, I've got my trusty little GoPro, and hopefully we can do some work. Right, well, like I said, I can't wait any longer. Let's get this show on the road. Right, okay, well, this is your Traffic Master. As you can see, it's just a box with an aerial attachment. So yeah, what can I say? I'm just trying to beat the sudden urge to just take a hammer to this. I mean, these has just caused nothing but chaos. In the 11 years I've owned that C5, this thing is just driving me nuts. Well, before I destroy it, I think we need to find out how this thing works. Right, so this is the whole complete wiring loom, and I'll go roughly in depth with what the sort of plugs do and things like that. So yeah, so obviously the blue plug plugs into Traffic Master, and that one plugs into there. Now this is, if you pull the glove box out right up against the firewall, you would actually find this clips against the firewall. So yeah, there's two ways on how to bypass it. The first way I will go in more depth later on in the video, and that is to obviously disconnect the plug and redivert the pins where they need to go in order to make the sound work again. But there is another, if you're not really good with wiring, there's a much simpler way of doing it. The question is, have you got the guts to do this? Well, I have. I hate this damn thing. I just don't want this in my car ever again. Like I said, this came out the C5 Caravan, so I still have one in my green C5, but when I replace the carpets, this thing is coming out and I'm going to stick a hammer to it, and I will video that as well. So anyway, so one option is to reconfigure the pins and joining up a couple of wires to obviously make it work. So that's option number one. So as you follow in the cable along, obviously this goes across the dashboard. So this is the passenger side, this is the driver's side. Now these cables here connect to the stereo, which is your power and obviously your speaker inputs and whatnot. Then as you go across, there is another cable, a little short one. It's a 2-pin plug. I believe, I can't honestly remember, but I believe this has is either a data cable or it's a power related, so it may need power rather than getting it from the radio. But again, we will look into that and see exactly how it's been wired. The next cable is this quite a long cable with a 6-pin plug on the end, but there's only 4 wires going to it. So I can only think off the top of my head that might go to the multifunction display unit on the screen at the top, or it may go to the little LED light. But again, I can't remember, and I will do my best to find out what that plug actually does and obviously let you guys know. And then lastly, there's a set of more plugs and another one. I think this blue one goes to the switch. So when you hit the traffic master button switch, I think that's a wire going to it. And you got another set of leads. Now, if you go on to right, so if you're looking at the dashboard on the driver's side, you got that center console with that little plastic panel. If you pop the panel off and then look up towards the steering, you'll actually find these plugs. Now these plugs are identical to the stereo. So the plugs that connect to this, if you unplug them from this harness and then reroute them back up towards the dashboard and then across into the radio and plug them in that way, therefore you don't need any of this. You can bin it, you know, get rid of it, bin it. Your stereo will work, you got your sound, you got everything you can that you want, you know, for your stereo. Everything all works again. So that's option number 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause it here, and I'm going to strip this loom down, and I'm going to work out what pin does what for the blue plug, and we go from there. So option 1 is either bypass the wiring on here, or option 2 is locate the plug down on the driver's side and reroute the cable back behind your head unit. And even though these plugs are the stereo, as you can see, they're just plug in, you know, they're the same plug. So yeah, you can't really mess it up. The black plug and the white plug have a different pin, so it would only go in one way, and it's not like you can put the black plug into the white plug. It won't work because there's a locating lug in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video at the moment. I'm going to strip this down and then try and work out which wire does what, and then I'll come back and hopefully explain to you about the option 1 recommendation. And yeah, let's see if we can get this traffic master out of the car, eh? Right, catch you guys in a bit. That was fun. I spent probably about half an hour to 45 minutes trying to work out which wire does what. I didn't use a multimeter only because I've been screwed in the past with Citroen, where they tend to stick resistors in certain cable and then not tell anyone about it. So yeah, what I've ended up doing is stripping the whole entire cable right down and look into exactly which cable goes in which pin for the plug. So, are you guys ready? You sure? You don't want to call a friend or something like that, you know? I don't want to be mean. Yeah, I should tell you what I really you know, what the pins are for disabling this piece of junk. Yeah, it's just a heavy, it's just a paperweight at the end of the day. It'd be quite interesting to see what's actually inside of this and see what it's all about. But the antenna is quite useful actually. From what I can actually see in through where the antenna goes in, is if you were to unscrew this, there is a plug for this actually plugged onto the main board, and if you were to unplug that, you might be able to plug that into your sat nav. It's got the same plug on it. So, what do you reckon? Might as well use a proper sat nav feed instead, wouldn't it? Might as well, if it's there, why, you know, use it. If you're very ambitious, you could probably go as far as using it for DAB radio as well, which is something I'm thinking of. I do have DAB in my Citroen. It's just a little clip-on thing on the air vents, and obviously that then transmits the signal into the radio. So yeah, I will be looking into extending that antenna, and I think I might use this cable to do it with. Hey, why not? If it's not doing anything, you might as well use it. Right, well, I can't wait to show you what I've done, so let's crack on. As you can see, I've taken all the tape off. I've worked out which wire does what, and yeah, so basically that goes to the stereo. So like I said, if you go down into the driver's footwell and then pull that side panel off on the center console, you will find these cables just tucked up on the inside. So you can either unplug them and then reroute the cable up towards the stereo and plug it in that way, or if you want to go one step further and then just you know, if you can't get the stereo out for some particular reason, then I will tell you what the pins are for this. So yeah, looking into the wiring, the long cable with the 6-pin plug with only 4 wires going to it, it does look like it was going to the display unit. Well, I can only, it looks the right plug. I'm just trying to work out. What I need to do is I need to go back down to the lockup and I'll see if I can find that LED light and see if it's got the same plug on there. But this is definitely a data cable. It doesn't have a lot of power going through it. Now that big plug I mentioned about, which is this one here, it is actually a power for it. So you can unplug that and just leave it. That's fine. And then a little blue plug, which is roughly about where the power is for the stereo, just inside the dashboard there. That does look like it goes to the switch. So, right. I'll get the old GoPro and we get a closer look on this cable. Right. So here's your plug. Now what you want to do is there's a cable tie that's just sitting around here, so you can cut that off. If you look just down in the plug, there's a little locating lug, or like a little clip. If you bend that out and then pull this out, that outer sleeve actually comes off. So right, so you've got the cable here. You can either have it in there and then put wires through the holes, or you can just take this off, cut it, and then join the wires to the proper places. Now the photo, which I will show you here, now starting from left to right on the top row, it goes from 1 all the way to number 13. And then on the bottom row, it starts from 14 all the way to 26. So that's moving from left to right. So, yeah. Right, well, I think you just come back onto the GoPro. I just want to clarify, this is your plug here. So this one here is number 1. This end one on the same top row is number 13. On the bottom row, this one down here is 14. And lastly, on the bottom row, on the right hand side, this one here is number 26. So you can either get some cables, which I've got in my little toolbox here. Let's have a quick look. Now you can get little cables like these. This is designed for Raspberry Pi or the Arduino type units. You can actually get these leads which have these double pins on the end. Obviously this one's just doesn't have that at all. But what you can do if you decide to go down this road is you can just get this and just poke it in the holes. And then go from there. Right, I'm going to put in the description exactly which wire needs to be connected to which pin, or which pin needs to be connected to which pin. It's easier for me to write it down than for me to explain it to you. So yeah, hopefully once you have done your wires on this pin, you can remove this unit. You can take it away, you can bin it, you can do whatever you want to do with it, and your stereo will be fully working. So I know it's been a long awaited, and I'm quite surprised any of you guys out there who haven't actually played around with something like this. But yeah, there's nothing online regards to how to bypass a Traffic Master. So I'm now wondering if this particular system was actually installed on other Citroens, and maybe even Peugeots as well. So if you do have a Citroen out there that isn't a C5, or even a Peugeot, whatever model you got, if you just let me know if it has got a Traffic Master in, and if it has got the same sort of plug on it, then if you do decide you want to get rid of it, please try this out, you know. What more can I say on that? Yeah, well, I'm going to leave it here, guys, because my voice is starting to play up. And yeah, well, thank you very much for watching. Most appreciated. Obviously, if you would like to subscribe, please do. The more you subscribe, it's helping the channel out, and obviously it also helps the channel to grow. So yeah, if you like my content, please give us a thumbs up. If you want any notifications of the next video I upload, please tick the bell. And for all you people out there, please stay safe, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you for watching.